Hi, I'm John Weiler with Sodak Screens here in Cologne, South Dakota. And I want to just talk very briefly about a newer process that we have here to create images both on apparel and on hard substances, hard surfaces. It's called dye sublimation. Dye sublimation is actually taking dye from an image and transferring it onto another medium. What's really interesting about this is that it can take near photo quality images and kind of retain that crispness and high color, the vibrancy with the color. So basically how it works is we take a certain type of fabric, in this case we'll talk about apparel, and it's going to be polyester. And the higher the count or the more polyester in that garment, the better that this image is going to, or the dye or the ink is going to adhere to the fabric. Okay, we're going to talk about fabric now. So dye sublimation, we can do quite a bit with this, and it's actually very exciting. This is something that's new here, and I'm just kind of scratching the surface. But I wanted to bring it up because what's kind of interesting about this is that we can take logos or photographs, things like that, and apply them to garments. So behind me here, I have an example of a dye sublimation print that we did for a softball team that was sponsored by the Pheasant Bar. And if you're watching, I hope that you enjoy your shirts. I hope that you wear them outside of the softball field. But what we did was place a picture of a pheasant on the front with Pheasant Bar, Winter, South Dakota. And then on the back too, we also had we sublimated the number for that individual and then the sponsor, which was Pheasant Bar. But all this is done with dye sublimation. And this is the black. It's a pretty vibrant black, or dark black. It's hard to say black is colorful, but it stands out. And the same with the picture on the front. It retains a lot of the detail. The next one that I'm working on right here at the moment is a newer EMT shirt that I thought would be kind of interesting for kind of a unisex style for both men and for women. But I did this on dye sublimation. So what I'm kind of experimenting with is different placement with artwork. And here is actually kind of a, once this is actually on, the shirt is worn, this placement of this EMT logo on the front actually wears pretty well. But on the back though, is really what I want to highlight is the American flag, and this is a distressed American flag. And on the inside we have a darker Star of Life, and these are for our volunteers. I myself am a volunteer. I'm very proud to have gone through the training, and proud to serve the community too. So this is focused towards volunteers. But on the side, again, we have the darker colors with the contrast with the lights. So we can retain, how the image itself looks from the original point. So like in this case here, this is designed as a distressed look. And it retains that on the fabric too. So that's very interesting. This is 100% polyester. It's actually very comfortable. These are the types of shirts that we are going to or going towards just because they're more active. They're not so heavy when you sweat, like with a cotton shirt. And really, there's nothing wrong with cotton either. It's just, a personal preference and application too. So like these Pheasant Bar softball shirts, for me, for being outside, they would have been a little more comfortable than all cotton, 100% cotton shirt that will just retain the moisture and retain the heat too. So there's a lot of good things just with the material itself. But what's very interesting about it is that we can apply dye to it now. We can sublimate dye images onto this polyester fabric. The takeaway from this is that this only works best with a lighter or white color garment. So like in this case here, These are both done in white. But you know what we're trying to really highlight here is the image itself. So when we think about it in terms of that, if you have a logo for your business or your group or whatever it is, your club, whatever it is that you want to highlight, you want to be able to see that in contrast between the two. So we have this darker image onto the light. But this process here works best on a white colored garment. Okay, so this is just a real quick overview with dye sublimation and how it's applied to fabrics. I had mentioned before that it's also applied to hard surfaces. I have put up videos already and some photos of our coffee mugs. It's applied in the same fashion. So just as an example there, and we'll go over this later because we have different products that will be having the ability to sublimate on or to take a photo quality image and place it on that hard object. So that'll be a different video. But what's very interesting about that is that we have the capabilities to do that now. And it's a lot of fun because we can do very creative things with a wide variety of items. Okay, I'm John Weiler with Sodak Screens here in Cologne, and this is just a quick tutorial or talk through on dye sublimation and the process and the final result. So if you have an image, you have something like that you would like to really stand out, you're looking for that photo quality, give us a call. We'll be happy to sit down and discuss it with you.